So, hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Amelia Vogler, grounding and energy medicine specialist, and your host of the Energy Magazine exclusive interview series. And today I'm speaking with one of my absolute favorites, Carol Comator, founder of Healing Touch for Animals. For 28 years, Carol has pioneered the practice of energy balancing and energy healing work for animals based on her deep understanding of their unique energy systems and their instinctual presence. So, in addition to helping students develop an energetic understanding of animal instinct, the curriculum teaches animal anatomy, the use of essential oils, and sound therapy. And I hear she's got some advanced work in the pipeline. So, Carol, thank you so much for taking this time with me today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to share this work with all of you.
Yeah.
So thank you, Amelia.
Oh, my pleasure. So I think it would be nice if we just kind of started at the beginning.
Okay.
How did you get started working with animals?
Well, I guess, worked with them all my life because my parents used to tell me that I had a special connection with the animals and like on the farm and different neighborhood animals when we moved to the city and different things like that. But my energetic part started after I became an instructor for the Healing Touch program. And talking to my colleagues about the animals because they knew of my 13-year background as a vet tech before that. And so they were asking me questions about their own animals. And that energy was like, oh no, you're approaching it the wrong way. And because the animals are different energetically. And so they don't always take in the energy that we offer for humans in the same manner. So it was fortuitous that I was helping as a mentor, helping Janet Menken in a level 4 or 5 course in Payson, Arizona. And in this classroom of 30 some people, we had questions coming at me about animals. And Janet finally said, okay, Carol, on our big break tomorrow, I want you to go across the field over here and get that horse and show people what to do. And so that was the start of HTA, so Healing Touch for Animals. So it's that day, and it was like, oh, I can teach this for people how to work with the animals properly and explain what I saw uh, energetically. So we found the chakras on the animals, which is worked on differently than humans because we typically work on on humans' tummies area with them lying face up on the table, and then with the animals we can't really do that. So we work off of their spine when we work. And so I was able to explain the energetic differences to this group within a half-hour period of time. We showed where the chakras were, and it was just a really fun experience. And so I key that to Janet and her wanting to get on with her teaching for the human aspect. So it was kind of funny.
It
Yeah.
is funny. So, Carol, you may have mentioned this, but for those who are listening that aren't familiar with Healing Touch for People, who's Janet Menken?
Oh, sorry. Janet Menken is the founder of Healing Touch program, and she um, saw this vision of teaching her nursing colleagues how to do energy work to help support the balance and strengthening of the energy system so that anything medical that was happening while they were doing their nursing was intensified and enhanced with those different techniques. And so the energy medicine part of things was brought forward. And those of us who were not nurses also engaged in the program, which I am one of those. So I had a vet tech background. So I consider myself a nurse practitioner in the veterinary world from my experience there, because I did everything from lab work to helping in surgery. So it was, a great experience for me. But what I found with the Healing Touch program is that it gave me words for what I was already doing and how I was connecting with people, how I saw things energetically. I had words for it where I hadn't before, and I just thought everybody did what I did, and didn't realize that people don't always see the energy. People don't always have that empathetic response to the others, whether it's an animal or a person. And so Healing Touch really gave me a foundational piece to support um, what I was already doing.
Oh,
And like
thank you.
many of the students that I've taught, that's what they have said as well, is there's a language here that has not been spoken before.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That's helpful, Carol.
Yeah. Thank
And
you.
a couple times you mentioned, being able both in the story of your life and also this professional story, being able to identify how humans and animals are different energetically. Can you share a little bit about that for
Sure.
us? Oh, cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we work with the chakra system with the animals, just like we do with the humans. And in our chakras, we have seven main chakras, which the animals also have. And then every joint of the body, every organ of the body has its own minor chakra. Plus, there's extras that are thrown in there. And so those energy centers provide us the movement of our life force. It brings us the energy that is needed in order to give us quality of life. Um, and and when there is imbalance, or if there's a accident, perhaps, then by bringing that together again in a balanced state of being, healing can take place at a greater level. The difference is that in the outside part of who we are as humans, we have a layered energy system that supports us in our energetic physical body, our energetic emotional body, mental body, and our spiritual body that goes out many layers outside of us. And in metaphysical terms, it's called the aura. And within that, you can get into real specifics as to what each of those layers provide. And so those are our layers, and they're not like layer cakes where they just stack on top of each other.
Yeah.
They integrate and have their layer, and then they integrate again so that all works together to provide the support of that life force within our body. With the animals, they have all the aspects of what we have in layers. However, their instinctual energy field is 10 times bigger than ours. And in that layer, that great big energy field that they have, that supports their instinctual presence. And they do not have layers, they have little pixels of dots of each of those aspects, because each layer represents a different color, or an emotion, or other parts of who we are. And that layer then, those pixels that come from those layers are strewn all over the place. I correlate it to, not, I call it pixelated because, and until we had digital cameras, I didn't know what a pixel was. So it's like a camera that is a picture that has been taken by a digital camera, and you magnify it, and it's just a bunch of dots that make up the picture. That's how the energy field looks to me with the animals. And so the energy of all of the aspects of physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. With the animals, it's instinctual. They don't have a spiritual practice, so it's an instinctual field. And it expands 10 times greater because they monitor on the edge of that energy field all the way around them, 360 degrees. They monitor like little radar receptors to know if they are safe or not. It also holds their telepathic ability to connect with us as humans. And so even though we are far away, they know when we're headed home. Or how they're connected if you're having a bad day at work. and you come home and they know that you've had a bad day at work, and or that you have the biggest joy that you have experienced in your life, they also understand that. So it's that 10 times greater way out here that they have little radar receptors bring the information into their own bodies and then make a decision. Do I stay here and graze in the field? Or is there a wolf outside on the other side of the fence? I need to be careful and understand what's going on. So I love that part of who they are. We as humans are not programmed that way. So ours is a whole lot different. We're closer in to our bodies than the animals are. And it provides an energy piece that helps us to understand the animals better, even though we can't physically talk to them. Now, unless you're an animal communicator, and then that's a whole nother story. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, so Carol, in this kind of, I'm going to call it an integrated field of these little
that's what I call it too. Yeah,
yeah, oh
integrated.
cool.
Yeah.
When an animal isn't feeling well or it's sick, do you see all those pixels as little different colors like we have, our layers have different colors?
Right.
Is it
Yes. So
do,
it's like a red one, a red dot here, a pink dot here, a green, yellow, orange, blue, whatever, purple.
yeah,
It's all in there. And what we look for, just like with energy medicine for humans, we look for symmetry and how that energy field is flowing. And so whether you see it or not, yeah, and you don't have to see, this is
yeah,
my perception and how I understand the animal's energy instinctual field. But it's the way that the animals, when they are not feeling well, when there's an accident, when there's an like trauma, maybe abuse issues, which we see with animals quite a bit, just like humans, I guess. And that field then is either packed in a little tighter, or it has a dip in it, or there could be a discoloration where the colors aren't bright, they are more muddy. And so by bringing in the energy techniques that we have, it support um, helps us to support their whole energy system and then bring it into health and well-being again.
that's
So
incredible. Well,
yeah.
so I have one more little geeky question because I'm always so curious about this. But many animals, not all of them, have 4 feet on the ground.
Yeah,
And we have only 2 feet on the ground. And
right.
so, what is that like? What is that difference like in terms, because we think of grounding ourselves through our feet or through our hara, which is,
Uh-huh.
linear, but, they get 4
Yeah,
opportunities for
they
grounding. Is
do.
that why their fields is so big?
Well,
Or,
that's part of I think the stabilization of it. To me, their 4 feet for grounding is like those big metal pieces on trailers that they put down on the ground when they're steady to keep them steady.
yeah,
I don't know what they're called, but it's like they stabilize that big trailer, that 18 wheeler on the ground. So when it's not moving, so that um, it doesn't tip over or blow over or whatever. And so that's kind of what I see. The animals have a hara as well. So, and it works like a merry-go-round pole.
wow,
So it works like in the back of their withers, it goes straight down vertically like ours does, and it goes deep into the ground. It connects to the heavens and the spiritual energy that we connect with. It's their instinctual energy, and how it connects to God universe and to Mother Earth. And so when all 4 of their feet plus the hara are in correct order, then they're more grounded. And we have hovercrafters, I call them, hovercrafters with animals, just like we do with people, where
yeah.
they don't have a grounding bone in their body, right? And yet the work can help teach them that this is the better way to react to things and to be in place and healthy.
I love that language of be in place,
Yeah.
especially like when you put it right next to the language that you use about this instinctual language,
Uh-huh.
like that that is just such a beautiful way of
Oh, thank you.
realizing, these energy, I don't know, the homes of us, and animals are so primally instinctive. It's like that's their language.
Well, and they are instinctual. And their instinctual piece is all about energy. So it's like they are so much smarter than we are energetically. And so they can sense, like I had a cat one time. My very first kitty when I started HTA, and this kitty was like a dog cat, I called him, because he'd go to the door when the doorbell rang to see who was there. And he would actually tell me who was safe or not. And so I
Cool.
actually had somebody come into the house that was going to do a repair job, and he backed up like beep, 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 beep. Like, be careful, watch out what's going on.
Wow.
So I made sure there was another person in the house with me. So it's like they know who's coming to the door. They know what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instinctual discernment, like
Right,
these
right.
really
Because
cool
they read our
filters.
energy around our bodies too.
Wow.
They
Thank you
read our
so
heart most
much.
of all. They read our heart.
Oh, mm. I'm a true animal fanatic.
Yes, I know
So
you
I
are.
just love them so much.
Yeah.
So, with this incredible, I mean, I'm just talking to just a master, we're so lucky to have you.
Oh,
Um,
thank
thank
you.
you. So there's so many different healing touch techniques that are taught in the human world. And so can we use those on our animals, or how does, are they different? Are they same? How's that?
Yeah, well, some of them are good to use with the animals, some are not. It's like chakra spread that we use at end of life, or for something that's really big and dramatic going on in somebody's life. That is like waving around in all those pixels.
Oh, yeah, I can
And
bet that
so
feel
it's
weird.
not stabilizing to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have different techniques to use in order to work with that. But and I use what we call our hands in motion technique. I use it on the body as a petting technique. I
Mm-hmm.
call it uh, a vibrational grooming. And so I work with the energy across their body with hands on, and they love the hands on for the most part. So when you're petting a dog or a cat, when they're just sitting on your lap and you're only petting against the head and the neck, that is still with intention. We can bring in a balance within their body to help support whatever's going on with them, or just sending them love as we're connecting with them like they do with us all the time.
Ah,
So,
amazing.
yeah.
So how else do animals benefit from your healing touch for animals?
Well, we address all kinds of different issues. So I have cancer patients. I actually am going to work on one later this afternoon. And we have cancer patients. We have animals who have been traumatized, animals who have been abandoned. So people are finding in these days and during COVID that oftentimes they weren't able to support their families, their human families. And so they had to relinquish their animals, and they forget to tell them. And so they dump them off at the shelter, and then these animals are traumatized, like, where are my people?
Yeah.
So I love the practitioners that are volunteering at our shelters and helping the animals there, because it helps to bring them back into a place of wholeness, and then they're able to attract their forever new home. And so it's really a sweet way to work with it. We also work with abused animals or neglected. So sometimes that comes into view. I work with several different athletic animals who are in shows, and that's how I kind of got started, was working with the cutting horses years and years ago. And so I love working with the competition animals, but I also work with a lot of just everyday family animals that are going through something. So whether it's a viral issue that's going on or something more serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have the behavioral issues that go
Oh,
on.
yes. Yes, I have one with those.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, we'll
Bernadette.
talk later, right?
Okay.
But this, it's like I have a whole script for behavioral issues, and we figure out what the animal's job is and then go into this script. And it's like the energetic piece is changed. The
Mm.
energetic piece comes into balance and strength so that they can make better decisions. Um, and it's just great because they understand the energy.
Wow. So
Yeah.
your program really uses their language.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yes.
way I
I
keep
never
hearing. It's
thought
like
about that
we're
before. Yeah.
talking, you get to come in and your practitioners just get to come in and say, "Hey, guess what? We're speaking the same language.
Yeah,
Let's have this
exactly. And
conversation."
this technique that I'll share with you a little bit later is called bridging, is that meet and greet technique that I use all the time. And that's exactly what I say, is that when you are doing this for a couple of minutes before you start your regular session, that the animal understands who you are and what is going on with that, you understand what's going on with them, and they let you in a whole lot easier.
Oh, well, would you want to teach that now since we've
Sure,
just been
of course.
talking about it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can be your animal. Yeah.
So when we're working, let me just explain. We have two chakras that we work with the bridging technique, and one is the throat chakra, which is here on us, and one is the heart chakra, which is here on us, on our middle of our chest. And with the animals, with them standing on all 4 feet or laying down or wherever they are with their 4 feet, we work with the throat chakra right in front of the withers. So the withers is where their scapulas meet in the back of their neck. And if you were petting down their neck, your hand kind of stops a little bit here. And that's places your hand directly over the throat chakra. And then their heart chakra is actually in the chest. There's a secondary one off of the spine as well, but we work with the one off of the chest because when you walk into a room and I'm sitting with your dog and they see you come into that room, they beam an energy of love from their heart to yours.
Mm.
So they connect with their people. And so I teach the heart chakra issues or techniques that we use. When we have to place our hands over the heart center, I do it over the chest. The dogs have like a protruding sternum.
Yeah.
So the sternum fits right in the palm of your hand, just like a handhold. And with the horses, they have pectoral cleavage in their chest. And so I can't do this upside down without standing up, but these two fingers fit in that pectoral
Oh, yeah.
cleavage. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then it places your palm right over the heart chakra. So that's kind of how I have determined these two chakras. In the bridging technique, with the throat chakra, we put one hand on the throat, one on the heart. And the throat chakra represents the way that we communicate, our true expression of who we are. The heart chakra is unconditional love. So when you bridge them together, and I call it bridging because it reminded me of the girders in a bridge, how they are solid and strengthened. And so when you combine the two chakras together in this technique, then I let that stabilize and then send those two aspects onto all parts of the body. All the other chakras, the minor chakras, the energy field outside the body. And it's like a fabulous technique. So you put one hand on the throat chakra and one hand on the heart, and then form that bridge like this. And it's like the energy amplifies together. It creates a higher frequency within the technique to help support the health and well-being of the animals.
Amazing. So does it go through the animal? Like
Yeah.
the bridge is like this sort of.
Right. right. So one hand's here, one hand is here. So throat chakra
Uh-huh.
and heart, and they come together and blend. And then it's like it actually is almost like you amplify the volume.
Cool.
Only it's not not forcing it, it's the energy of the two chakras meeting together. And it helps to accelerate the frequency and vibration of the body as you're using it. So we use it for like the meet and greet. We use it for a full body balancing. We use it for behavioral issues and with the script. And it's
Cool.
just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
twice.
the most used technique in our program. And we
Uh,
teach you in level one.
I mean, those foundational techniques are everything. They're not
Yeah.
basic. They're
No,
foundation.
no, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I never call it basic because it's one of my favorite high frequency techniques to use. And my practitioners that have engaged in the program, they use it all the time for their different things that they're using. Many times it's a prerequisite for other techniques.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially because you mentioned how stabilizing it is.
yeah, right.
Yeah. You know, twice you've mentioned the importance of stabilizing
Yeah,
their
strength
system.
and stabilization is really how healing happens. And it happens through our heart chakra, that unconditional love place. And through everybody's heart, it works. But when we balance the entire energy system, just think about the structure that you are creating that helps to support that health and well-being or quality of life till the end of life. So with oftentimes there are times when we're using it as palliative care, uh, any of our techniques actually that help to support quality of life for the time that is left in that lifetime.
Mhm.
So,
So, Carol, I mean, I could talk to you for just like days at a time.
hey,
So, okay, we might have to have
I
you
know
on
we
for
always have fun.
part two, and then part three. But I'm
Okay.
curious, how did you come to like create these techniques? Like, what
Yeah,
was
thank
that
you.
like?
That's such a great question because I get it every once in a while. Um, I get what I call downloads, and it's usually when I'm working with an animal or a person. And those downloads are like, oh, my hands are being carried over to this section of the body and over to this particular chakra. Or, wow, that was a really cool aspect of the energy system.
Mhm.
And I had never thought of it that way before. So when I get those downloads, I write them down. I document in my treatment forms, but I also write them down otherwise. And then I do meditation around it. And then I use it and I use it and I use it again until I know that it is tried and true and that I understand every aspect of the energy piece before I support teaching it to someone else. So all of the techniques, except for two minor techniques of our first aid techniques, are different than our human program with Healing Touch. So they're different aspects. All of our techniques, whether in either program, help to clear and balance and strengthen the energy system. But the techniques that I have are tried and true for the animals as well. So
So, I mean, that brings such integrity to your work
thank
too.
you. Yeah. Well, I
It
want to
is,
know
yeah, yeah. Well,
so I don't
yeah,
look like I'm twisting my tongue as I'm trying to teach it, right?
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
But that which is repeatable in these very subtle systems, it does start giving you a sense of like, well, there's something here
right.
because that
Well,
which is all possibility, you know.
yeah. In our advanced proficiency 2 course, there was a download that I got, like several of them, like 4 different ones in a group of um, techniques that I was doing during lockdown when we were all home and doing distance work, and I still had a clientele and was able to work with those clients. But the downloads, these 3 specific techniques I kept using over and over, and I put one step here and one step here, and then try it a different way. And what I found is that it wasn't three different techniques or four techniques that I was going to use, but it turned out that there were three specific steps that formulated this one technique called God's Eye.
Oh,
And the other technique was that came through as another technique all by itself. So I thought it was going to be four different techniques, and it actually was two. And there were three steps in the one God's Eye technique. So
proof
I
that you
come up with
listened.
the names by the way the energy flows. So
Cool. Cool.
yeah.
So Carol, what's going on over there at Healing Touch for Animals? What's new? What do you have like upcoming? What are you really jazzed about?
I'm
Classes?
we have for the last 4 or 5 years been presenting a class called Bridging Animals to People. And it's a 1 day course that for people who know how to run energy, so they don't have to be involved in healing touch. Um, but for someone to come into understanding how to use the animal techniques on people. And so I teach 6 different techniques that have been developed in the program. And we work with humans only. So you have a partner to work with. And so it's a really great way to do a self-care, but it's also a way to um, really understand the techniques of the animals and how to present them to your human clients. And it's so much fun. And the energy of healing that takes place during that day for the practitioners is mind blowing for me. It's like it fills my heart. It's lovely. Yeah.
Well, I would imagine, and maybe, there's always a possibility I'm not right, but the idea that animals are so instinctual and that this is the primal system, that when we start using these techniques on us, do you think it's tapping into our primal, our most basic, our most foundational aspects of self?
Well, it just goes deeper. I know that. So I don't know. I never thought of it as primal, but that's a good word, Amelia, because the animals are more understanding of what's going on around them energetically. Um, I feel that the techniques really do anchor and support that stability and strength
Mhm.
within the body.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
when is that class? Where is it? Where do we sign up? How do we get there?
I'm teaching, the next one is in San Diego. I think that's the only one in the United States that's left. We had one here earlier in Denver. And then I'm going to be teaching it twice in Europe, one in Switzerland next and in June, and then in Netherlands in September. So they're around, and we're thinking of doing an additional online course, but that's going to take a little bit to get that done. So,
Awesome.
and what is cool for those who are nursing people, it is approved by the American Holistic Nurses Association. So you get those contact hours and CEs represented for licensure and whatever else you need to have within that class specifically.
Oh, Carol, this sounds so
Yeah.
wonderful.
So I am excited about that because my colleagues are going to get it now. Get what's going on and how the animals are different, and those that haven't taken the class so far.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Ah, well, Carol, this has been so fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been fun for me too. It's always fun to work with you.
Same. Is there anything else, any parting words before we go?
No, I'm just grateful to be able to have a job for
Yeah.
29 years now, I think. That is my joy, and I still love teaching the level 1 courses and the advanced proficiency courses and everything in between. It's that ahas that you see in the classroom that help these people help our animals to a different level, which carries on because of that instinctual energy field. Those animals are hanging out in our field, and it helps us balance and clear too. So
cool.
Yeah,
Well,
so I feel so grateful that this has been my path.
and we're so grateful that you shared your path with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's
Anytime.
been my pleasure.
We'll see you again for
Okay.
conversation 2.
All right, good.